So welcome to our first exercise. We are going to use our painting supplies, including 2 containers of water, our brushes, and you just choose whatever brushes you have. What I have here is my Mimic Squirrel set of 8 brushes. I'm not going to use all 8, but I have them out. And of course, my palette that I set up with you. And I am going to just use 3 primary colors. So I think I am going to use my French ultramarine blue, my quinacridone coral, and my transparent yellow or nickel azo yellow, whatever you call yours. And here's the tracing for you. It's a cat, and we're going to do it really simply. This is our first exercise in doing wet into wet, letting the pigments and colors mix directly on the paper to create secondary colors and neutrals. And I have an 8x10 Arches cold pressed watercolor paper, and mine's 300 pounds. If yours is 140 pounds, it's probably going to buckle a little bit. You just spray it on the back. So we do need our spray bottle, and I think it would be fun if we throw a little bit of salt in. Let's do that. So grab yourself some salt, just from the kitchen. You know, it can be just regular table salt from the kitchen. It can also be sea salt or coarse salt, whatever you have, doesn't matter. So let me spray my colors that I'm going to be using. So that's my French ultramarine blue, this is my quinacridone coral, and this is my transparent yellow. So I'm going to make myself some nice puddles. I'm going to take my number 8 brush. I like to have not too big of a brush when I'm mixing my paint puddles, because you know I don't want a lot of pigment to be stuck in a big old brush. So I'm going to get my 3 puddles out like this, and you can see I mush them around. First I spray them with water to get them going, and then I get them out in one of the mixing wells out here. You never want to go directly from the color well to your paper, because you cannot judge how much pigment you have on, the strength of it, and also there might be little clumps, and then you're going to get like a stripe or something like that on your painting, and you're not going to be very happy because you will not be able to get rid of it. So make sure you make your puddles nice and big, because you know we need quite a bit of pigment, and I think it's a good idea to actually make yourself 2 puddles of each, because as we start painting, our puddles will probably start being polluted a little bit, and then it's nice to have a clean one to pop into if we need the color clean. So that's what I'm going to do, and that's super boring to watch. So I'm going to let you get your puddles ready, and I'm going to get my puddles ready, and then we're going to reconvene here. So I got my puddles mixed. I got myself some clean water because my dirty water was all dirty, and I always like to start out with clean water. Just in case I didn't get enough, I'm going to give my 3 puddles of paint a little bit more water. And of course, you are free to choose whatever color combination you want to do. I just want to start out with the primary colors, because some of you might only have the primary colors, and I chose this more traditional red, blue, and yellow. If you wanted to use the alternative with the permanent rose, the cyan, and again the same yellow, transparent yellow, you can certainly do that, and that'll give you some other different colors. What we're going to do first is we're going to take a big brush. So I'm going to use my number 30 brush, and one thing I want to just alert you to is very often you will see like droplets on the handle of your brush, and they have a tendency to fall down and get, see, like here, can you see that? A droplet fell there. It was not my intention. It's not a big deal in this particular painting, because this is going to be very loose. So we're going to take clean water and just take a bigger brush. Don't try to cover a big area like that with a little brush like this. That's not a good idea. Make sure I stay in picture here. And I'm going to go almost all the way up to the pencil lines. And you can see I go back. I want this cat very, very wet. It's going to be, this is wet into wet that we're practicing here. And so I just concentrate and just go around and get water in the entire cat here. And this is just going to be a silhouette of a cat. There's going to be no eyes or whiskers or anything like that. So it's going to be very easy for you to start out with, and it's going to be a fun painting when we're done. So just going to get the water on, and I'm just going to speed up the video while I do this, and then put some music on, because again, this takes a little while. It's very important that you put your water on exactly where you want your pigment to go. It is nice to leave yourself a little bit of a margin to the pencil lines, because the water does have a tendency to creep a little bit further as it sinks into the paper. But the pigment goes wherever there's water, whether you want it to or not. So that's why don't put water places where you don't want your pigment to go. So I have to concentrate a little bit, and you probably do too. So let's put some music on, and then we'll reconvene when I'm ready to paint, and I'll just speed it up. Okay, I think I got water everywhere on the cat, and now I just want to go in and reinforce a little bit. Give it time to sink in, and then I can put more water on, and especially this tail. I want the tail very, very wet. But I want everything wet, because the wetter it is, the more the colors are going to run, and the more they're going to mix and mingle, and that's what I want. I want the colors to mix and mingle. And when they don't mix and mingle quite as much as I want them to, I'm going to use my spray bottle. So make sure you have your spray bottle at the ready. I'm going to use my spray bottle to get them going as needed. And if your paper is buckling, mine is buckling very little, but if yours is buckling, all you need to do is just spray on the back. I'm going to spray a little bit on the back. There we go. And again, applying water. And I am going to use my spray bottle also to spray in and get the colors to flow past the lines a couple of places, especially the tail. I want the head pretty precise, and the rest and a little bit of the back, but I'm happy if I get some little bit, splashing out, and kind of, so it's not all hard lines the whole way. This is supposed to be a fun, loose painting. So that's what I want it to be. And see, I think I have enough water on now. Make sure these extremities, legs and tail, are plenty wet. And we're probably also going to splatter a little bit. I did already, I don't know if you can't see that, but I put an apron on. So don't have your best blouse on or whatever, because I think we're going to splatter a little bit too. All right, so I can start out with my big brush, and let's just put some yellow in and some yellow in here, maybe a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit right there, maybe a little bit under the tummy. There is no rhyme or reason to what I'm doing here. I'm just doing whatever I feel like. So don't think that I have a grand scheme or plan, color plan or anything like that. I certainly don't. So now I took the red, and now I definitely want to make sure I go all the way up to the lines. And let's get this a little bit on this tail down here. Let's go here and here. And you want to be a little careful around his face. And so I'm going to go in now with some of my blue. So let's go here in the tail, get some blue going, and see how it runs into the red there. That's exactly what I want. And let's get some more blue here. Just little paws here. And see how the colors are beginning to mix and mingle a little bit. And some more blue here. And let's go up, get his little ears. And turn your paper around however you need it to make sure that you don't get, your hand in wet paint. And I have some yellow on this. I actually left this brush with the yellow in. So I have my brushes still with the pigment in. Let's go here. And let's go here and get some more of that blue in here. And here we go. Can you see how the colors are just running together, beginning to mix and mingle, and giving us some other colors? And I want to grab my red. Maybe a little bit more of the yellow here. You can rinse your brush whenever you feel like you need it. And I'm getting some little splatters here and there. I'm good with that. Okay, let's see where we're at. Can you see? We didn't really want that to run, but it's okay. And we're just going to let gravity do a little number on it. And see now, because I had that run there, now the pigment wants to run that way because now it's wet. It's not a big deal. This is a loose painting, so we're not going to freak out just yet. And now I just want to fix some of the lines. Doesn't matter so much what I have on my brush here. Can you see how I'm getting some beautiful greens where the blue and the yellows are mixing? And I'm getting some nice oranges, and then I'm getting some neutral colors where all three colors are mixing. And let's see here. Dab a little yellow in the tail there, and let's dab a little bit of some red in and just fine tune here. And let's dab some concentrated blue in. All right. want the ears to be dark, so that means need a lot of color in there. All right, that looks fun if you ask me. And I'm gonna let it run a little bit more. I really like that his face is getting nice and dark there. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna just pick up here and see, I'm gonna just run a little bit of water here so this pigment has somewhere to run, and that gives us a little bit of a shadow, which I think is perfect. There we go. I think we need a little bit more dark in there. Just as long as it's wet like this, you can keep dabbing in. It's totally fine. Nothing bad's gonna happen. And just fix my little tail there. And let's see, maybe I want to do a little red in there. Red and green, they're complementary colors, so they, neutralize each other, but maybe that red can push a little bit. Now comes something super scary. We want to hold our hand over the head. I don't want to spray on the head, but I do want to spray a little bit on the tail. So I'm just spraying a little bit, a couple of places, and also there. I just don't want it to be so perfect. And can you see, I also got a little splatter just in general. And now, can you see how I'm getting like a real neutral there? Now, I don't want that to take over everything, so I'm gonna go in with a thirsty brush. A thirsty brush is a brush that is damp, but you've squeezed all the water out of it, like with a tissue like this. And see, when you then stick it into a puddle like that, it's gonna pick it up. That. And here we can pick up a little bit more. And if we have other places where we'd like to pick up, I want a little something fun there. Let's put a little yellow in. Go. And now we're just gonna do a little tiny bit of splattering to kind of go with what we have. I think I want to pick up here with a tissue just a little bit, just so we don't lose that leg. I don't mind that there's the diffused edge there, but, and see, now I take my skinny rigger brush and I have some red on it, and I'm just gonna splatter. And actually, maybe I'm gonna take that one a little bit. And that's another thing right here. Maybe I don't want it to look like he's doing something. You know what I'm talking about. So let's take some blue, and it's good to get splatter both on the cat and on the paper in general. Just fixing this leg here and this leg here. As long as it's damp, you can do pretty much anything to it, and you're not gonna do anything that's gonna damage. And let's do a little bit of yellow. And then I'm gonna take my spray bottle, and again I want to hold my hand over the head, because I want the head to be pretty, undisturbed, so to speak. So, that's, so you can see it's a cat. Just fixing a couple of things. I think we're good. And we can splatter a little bit more now that we got water on. Just dragging here. That's good. Let's see if we can pick up a little bit here. Yeah, with a thirsty brush. In general, I like what we have. Might want to pick up just a little bit there. And now I said we should try also and put maybe a little bit of salt on. So I think we'll grab the salt, and let's try and sprinkle some salt on the cat here and there. And again, I think I'll leave the head alone. There we have it. And a little extra where we have those puddles. And we're going to leave it alone. I'm going to pick up here a little bit more right here with a clean tissue. And I think I want to pick up a little bit there too. There, just picking up a couple of places where I got a little carried away. Here we have it. And I think I want to do one more splatter with this watered down blue. That's also a little dirty. It's fine, like this. All right, now we just have to wait for it to dry, and then we'll see where we're at. So my little colorful kitty cat has dried completely, and I put when it was dry, I actually sprayed it with a little bit of water on the back, and then it's clean underneath here on my glass table. I put it underneath my mat here, and then I put a couple of books on top, and now it's completely flat. So I like that. But you can also do that at any stage after it's dry, and you can do it after you've rubbed off the salt. But I just wanted to have a nice flat painting to show you. And now I'm gonna rub the salt off, and a lot of the salt is kind of stuck because it was so wet some places, and it can kind of hurt your fingers. I don't like that. So I take a cut up credit card, and I just kind of scrape it off this way. And this sounds terrible, so I'm not going to do it while you listen to that. All right, I really like my little cat here. I think that's going to look awesome. Maybe in a kid's room, or if you know some cat lovers, I guess I should call them. I think they would get a kick out of that. And of course, you don't have to do it with all the colors. You could also choose to do it just with a limited palette with, like, for instance, a blue and an orange, or a blue and a burnt sienna. That will give you all sorts of grays and browns if you'd rather do that. Or you could also choose even a black if you have that, or make your own black and then just run it in. And I like that we got some salt action certain places. And I like the spraying that I did, but if you don't like that, and the splattering, but if you don't like that, you don't have to do it. If you did it with like really hard edges, you could even use a pen and give it a little bit of pen work. That would look awesome. Or if you wanted to do it with some little patterns inside, I'll pop in a couple of pictures where I've done something similar on some bears and on a landscape, so you get the idea of what I mean. So this could be taken many directions. I'm just going to pop on a little mat so you can see. So here you can see what it looks like with a mat on. I think it's going to make an adorable painting for somebody who loves cats. I hope you had fun with it, and we are ready for the next lesson.